Hello and welcome to Never Seen It, a podcast about movies we haven't seen yet. I'm your host today. My name is Trent. I'm sitting here at this table with my co-host, Betsy.
I am not a cop.
You are today.
We all are today.
Everybody's a cop because welcome to Copland, everybody. We're done with our Indiana Jones series and we're well into the month of July.
Oh, not
Hope you had a nice...
We started July.
Hope you had a nice July 4th. I hate when months start on a weekend because it just messes up the rest of the month. I hate it.
It's just confusing.
Yeah, it also just, for me anyway, it makes the month go by faster because you start the month on a weekend and sometimes you end the month on a weekend and it seems like the month goes by quicker.
And this is one of those months that also starts with a holiday.
Yeah, July 4th sneaks up on people sometimes. But anyway, we're talking about Copland. Betsy, this movie came out in 1997 and is starring Sylvester Stallone. I remember a whole lot of people talking about this movie back in the day when we were children.
I don't. I kind of forgot entirely that this movie existed for the last 26 years.
Really?
And for some reason, just in the last few months, it keeps coming up. This has happened with a few movies that somebody will mention it, and it's like all the devices are listening to us because we keep seeing it come up.
Suggesting, yeah.
Yeah, and this is one of them. So I know it's Sylvester Stallone. I know it's Harvey Keitel. I know they're cops. I've never seen this, though.
There is a land of some kind.
There's a land full of
It's not
cops.
all on water. And just by coincidence, the director of this movie is the same guy who directed the latest Indiana Jones movie that we just watched.
This guy has been around.
James Mangold.
He has been around for a long time, and if you actually look at his filmography, it's quite a variety.
He's got some bangers. Like he directed Logan, Ford versus Ferrari, Walk the Line.
And Kate and Leopold.
All bangers as far as I'm concerned. But, I mean, we like all those movies. I've not seen Kate and Leopold, of course.
Well, that's just your loss.
But, I mean, coming from that resume, you would think that Copland is very well regarded, and it is, but from what I remember about the conversation about Copland, it was mainly all about Sylvester Stallone and the fact that he put on a lot of weight for this role.
This is the kind of movie where on the surface, it doesn't look like an action movie, which is all he had done up until this point.
Right. This is his, one of his only forays into more of a dramatic role in his later career because he did some comedies and he did all the Rambo movies and the Rocky movies. This is very different.
But in the 90s in particular, 80s and 90s, he had really gotten into that groove of I just make Rocky and Rambo movies.
Yeah.
And then another action movie once in a while.
And he's always written his own movies and written his own parts.
Oh yeah.
This is something written kind of for him instead of him writing it for himself.
Which is unusual and gives him a chance to stretch as an actor.
Now, my understanding here is the movie itself is good, but because there was this conversation about Sylvester Stallone, it kind of made people not even go out and watch it.
People didn't know what to do with that information. They're
Yeah.
like, but I like the action star. You mean he's doing straight drama? I don't get it.
Right.
Maybe that's all it is people didn't get it.
Maybe this was sold as some kind of Michael Mann movie where there is a lot of action. I don't think there is.
Well, and remember in the 90s, especially, movie trailers were really bad at explaining what movies are.
They were just kind of bad in general. Yeah. But again, just going back to the conversation about it, everybody was just talking about Sylvester Stallone, and you didn't hear anything about the actual movie. So I know nothing about the plot. I assume there's some kind of, drug angle, corruption angle. I have no idea.
Me neither.
So you said Harvey Keitel. That's more than I knew.
I'm pretty sure. I remember the poster, and I think he's on it.
Fine. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really else to say other than that, so we're gonna go watch Copland. We'll be right back. we're back from the land of cops. Betsy, what did you think of that one?
I would say that is a good movie. I wouldn't call that a great movie.
It got better.
It did. And it's definitely interesting when you consider what all of these different actors were doing around the time of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got, De Niro coming off of Heat. You've got Ray Liotta a few years removed from Goodfellas. You've got Harvey Keitel coming off of Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs.
Yes.
So this is the kind of stuff these guys were all making in the 90s. And then here we have Sylvester Stallone.
Who's kind of on the rocks.
Kind of on the rocks, but he's doing Rambo. And like I said in the intro, he's doing fucking Cliffhanger. He's doing all these action movies. And then you get this movie, which is kind of a quiet drama.
Yeah.
So I can understand how people in the 90s would be like, what?
This is not Sylvester Stallone. This is not what I'm expecting here. He's just this mild-mannered sheriff who is just kind of an aw shucks kind of a guy.
He is definitely tapping into that same thing he was doing in Rocky, where he is a complete pushover. Everyone in this town just walks all over him. He's the sheriff, but he's a fucking, single guy. He gets drunk and just has nothing going on for him.
Yeah.
He observes literally everything in this community and does nothing about it. So he knows everyone is a dirty cop. He's surrounded by dirty cops.
And he is put in this position by the dirty cops that he ends up busting. And this is his way of feeling like a big shot. It's his way of being in with the gang, because he's always wanted to be NYPD. But the NYPD wouldn't take him because of his hearing issue. So, again, I think he's just telling himself, you know what, I am a real cop because I'm doing all the things that cops do, like protecting cops when they do something wrong.
I pull people over once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the movie we're walking into, and I would be interested to watch the trailer for this because I don't know how they sell this movie.
We definitely need to watch that after this.
Yeah, if they sell it like what you're seeing, or if they amped it up and kind of did a fake out where they take all the action scenes and the dramatic scenes.
If we only see the end of the movie of him in the driveway, or like the scenes in the cars and shit like that.
Yeah, did they make it look way more exciting? And then you get this movie, and all of a sudden people are like, what the hell is this?
It's kind of a detective movie. It's kind of I mean, it's very much about corruption.
This is a slow burn corruption movie. Yeah.
And like you said, it starts really slow. And I was like, oh, geez, is this going to be the whole way? But as it started going, it started to reveal itself. And I got into it by the end.
This one strikes me as one that bears repeating, if only because you're trying to piece it all together. And some of the stuff is so subtle that you almost miss it. So like there's this kind of reveal at the end of the movie that harkens back to the first scene of the movie with Ray Liotta's character. And I was like, okay, now I understand, like way late in the movie, what was happening in that opening introduction.
Sure. And we also have this narration by Robert De Niro, who isn't really introduced until later in the movie and is barely a character. He shows up in like 3 scenes.
It almost feels like they added that later.
Yeah.
Like he's in the middle, but we needed you to know he was in the movie, and we need to set up what this town is. So we're just going to do a little narration. Maybe it was always in there.
And he's the outsider. He's the one kind of coming in and looking at things and really knowing what these guys really are. As internal affairs, you kind of have to look into the finances and the lives of all the cops on the payroll. At least the guys that you're suspicious of anyway. But yeah, he's the outsider kind of looking in and telling the audience what he's seeing.
Yeah, and it starts with his narration basically explaining what this town is. So you had to kind of pause it, and I was just like, let me just say this and understand what's happening. So basically, the NYPD cops wanted to get out of the city because in New York, everybody's a cop, and they're the bad guy.
And people hate cops.
So they figured out a way, this loophole, where they're considered transit cops.
Right. They get some kind of classification where they are considered transit cops that are allowed to live outside of the city.
And so they set up this little town, this safe haven across the bridge, across the river in New Jersey.
Right.
So they are actually living in New Jersey, but they all are considered NYPD.
Yes.
But the entire town is exclusively made of cops.
I don't know about exclusively.
Pretty
but
fucking close.
It says like the population is like 1,200.
It is a small town.
It is the cops, it is the families, and then some other people to throw off the scent.
And they have Sylvester Stallone as the sheriff because he just wants to be part of the club because he can't be a cop any other way.
And they know how to control him. Because if he couldn't do this, he couldn't be a cop anywhere else. Like, I guess the NYPD has rules about this, but I guess being a sheriff of a town or of a county or whatever this is.
Listen, this is a small town and it's a glorified babysitter because who is going to fuck with a town full of cops? You don't really need a sheriff.
Yeah, and there's a lot of mentions of like, oh, the crime rate is like the lowest in the country because all the cops are there to help keep things in line. When in reality, they're just looking the other way.
Yeah.
If you don't arrest people, of course your crime stats are going to be way down.
There's 3 people on the staff in the police station there.
Sure, one of them is basically a rookie, Janine Garofalo.
Yep, she just transferred and she doesn't last very long because
No.
she's like, well, if we don't pull over cops in this town, we would never pull over anybody.
Exactly. And there's one other guy who was just kind of an aw shucks kind of a guy too.
But this is the setup, basically, this is where we are. This is what is happening, or more, what isn't happening. They genuinely, from the beginning of the movie, show Sylvester Stallone observing suspicious behavior, and he just lets it go. And he does this the whole movie. Nearly every scene is in this bar, and they're doing business out in the open.
And he's noticing things like the very first scene of him, the Edie Falco character, plus Ray Liotta. There's an exchange of some kind.
She hands him a bag.
Yeah, he gets a bag. We don't know what's in the bag, but clearly something is going to be relating to that later on in the movie because they wouldn't call attention to it otherwise. And Sylvester Stallone is up there just playing pinball, being drunk, and at the end of the night, he runs out of quarters. He goes to the... Why is there a parking meter in front of a bar, is my question.
Why is there a parking meter in this town of 1,200 at all?
Right. And it is full of quarters, by the way.
Of course it is. And he's got the keys, so he does something about it.
Right. So he takes a bunch of quarters and goes back in and plays more pinball. Or at least he's going to, but Ray Liotta comes back and says, you've had enough. How about you just drive yourself? You're good to drive, right? Oh, yeah, I got my flip-flops on. I can drive a car.
And he's drunk, too. Never mind that little element.
Details.
But they do this throughout the whole movie where they point out all of the ways that law is not enforced in this town. Like, there's one woman who has garbage being dumped on her spot. So she's like, somebody keeps putting their garbage with my garbage.
Right, and they have different bag colors, so you know it's somebody else.
Yep, so she's mad about that and she's tired of it because she doesn't want to get in trouble for breaking some rule, because that's how it starts, is you let them get away with this, they'll do more later. They have an entire street that says no parking, and when De Niro's in town, he has this thing on his dash and he assumes he got a ticket, and it's just a flyer for the 4th of July fair.
Which we go to later.
Which we do go to. Happy 4th of July,
Happy
everyone.
4th of July. Had no idea.
We didn't do that on purpose. So they just spend the whole movie demonstrating how these cops just do whatever they want and nobody is going to stop them.
Yeah.
In the open, the only law enforcement people in the town that are not a part of the gang of the NYPD.
Right. And right after this, we get the scene of Michael Rappaport, the kid. I'm going to keep on calling him the kid because I never actually got his name, and I hate his nickname.
Oh, his name was Murray. They keep calling him Superboy.
Superboy. That's fucking stupid.
Well,
I don't like that.
They explained it like in passing in that opening scene, why they call him that.
Yeah.
Like he rescued a bunch of children or something.
Sure.
Yeah, 3 to 6 babies. Like they are very vague in any good hero tale. The story changes.
It's true. So we get the scene of him walking out of the stripper club Scores, which
the
is a real
gentleman's club.
Which is a real place because I listened to Howard Stern in the 90s. He always talked about Scores. I didn't actually listen to him that much. I remember him talking about and hearing clips about it.
Contextually, you know from him.
I know that Scores was a strip club in New York City in the 90s. Anyway, so he's walking out, he's drunk, and he hears some stuff kind of in the shadows. And it's Robert Patrick and another cop. I didn't get who that was.
I think he was a guy who was on The Sopranos because half of the guys whose names
half
I
this
don't
cast
know
is from The
were in
Sopranos.
The Sopranos.
Yeah. So Robert Patrick is drunk as hell and he's puking his guts out behind the cars.
All the off-duty cops puking in the alley.
Right. Michael Rappaport gets in his car and he drives off. And then there's this scene of him driving across the George Washington Bridge. And this other car with a couple of guys in it sideswipes him. Don't really know why.
If they're drunk or they just do it for fun or they did it on accident.
Sure.
Doesn't really matter because it just escalates where he's like pointing what we think is a gun. The guy in the car is pointing a gun at Michael Rappaport while he's like waving his badge saying, "I'm a cop, pull over, pull over." Yeah. But they get into this shootout. All he had to do was pull over. Like, just don't chase them. Take the fucking plates. You're a cop. You know how this works. You're going to have a very glaringly obvious dent on the side of the car. Mm-hmm. They could find that car in about 6 hours.
But that's the thing, though. Everybody in this position, especially if you're a fucking cop, you know you're drunk. And if they find out that you're drunk, you are completely screwed. So if you have due cause to do something about the assault that you just experienced, then maybe you're going to try to do something about it. I don't really know what his mindset is, but he goes after the guys. He shoots his gun a whole lot and kills them both. Now, are we to believe here that there wasn't actually another gun and he did just pop a tire? Because I saw him, the guy in the other car, point something at him, and it seems like it shot.
So, no, there were two elements that you need to remember. So first, when he drove off the curb, what did he run over?
Oh, shit, yeah.
He ran over a glass bottle.
And they made sure to show us that.
And they made sure to show it. And then the guy in the car had one of those fucking 90s, like, what do they call that? The steering wheel protector. The club, yeah. He was holding it because he was the passenger, and he pointed it at the cop.
Okay.
So that's what happened. So it was all this big misunderstanding, but because he's drunk and under duress, he just started open firing on these guys and killed them both. Right. And then he crashed his car into them. And like you would expect in this situation, there's the two campuses when the cops all show up to figure out, like, okay, what happened?
Yeah. They shut down traffic, both sides, so it's just the EMTs and the cops.
So there's the, quote, good guys, and then the dirty cops.
Yes.
The guys that want to do it by the book, and then Robert Patrick, who is looking for a weapon, and there is no weapon because it was the club, and he starts planting a gun. So that's what happened.
Right, and Harvey Keitel is also there, who is apparently the kid's uncle?
Yeah, so he's Murray's uncle.
Sure.
By marriage.
Something like that. But it's the Harvey Keitel. It is Robert Patrick as the dirty cop who are trying to arrange this so it looks like it's a legit thing. They're going to overlook the fact that he's drunk. They're going to overlook all this other stuff, saying that there was no gun.
Yep, they're saying everything. Okay, here's how it played out.
Yeah.
You were off duty. You got sideswiped. It happened.
You saw a gun,
Yep.
They fired upon you, you fired back, and you killed them both, and you just happened to run into them with your car.
And then they decide to plant a gun to make the story stick. But while they're all fighting about whether to plant the gun or not, because again, not everyone on this bridge is a dirty cop.
Right, well, and the EMTs, like, confront Robert Patrick about the whole thing. Dude, I was just there. I checked that car. There was no gun.
I just saw you. You're fucking crazy.
Right.
And then he throws the gun.
Yeah.
But this all culminates in Murray freaking the fuck out. And then Harvey Keitel saying he jumped off the bridge. And we didn't see him jump off the bridge.
And I immediately thought that, okay, come on. He's not that, number one, he's not that distraught. And number two, we didn't see him jump, and there was no splash.
There was no splash. So it's this pretty simple premise to begin with, but then it just turns into this cover-up very quickly.
Yeah, and Harvey Keitel knows that he's fucked. There is no evidence here. We cannot clear you. We know we cannot clear you, so guess what? We're gonna make you dead, and we're going to disappear you elsewhere.
But this is where the whole movie goes off the rails within the movie. Like, they know it too.
Yeah.
It's not something where you as the viewer goes, how are they going to get out of this? They are wondering how they're going to get out of this. Because the whole problem is there's no body. They know there's no body. And even in the first 10 minutes after this happens, Sylvester Stallone sees the kid pop his head up in the back of the car, so he knows he's not dead and he knows he's in this town. He literally looked him in the face and was like, oh, okay, there he is. He's not dead.
I didn't notice that part.
Yeah, he's driving down the road after they pulled him over.
Yeah.
And he's hiding in the back seat.
Yes.
And as they're driving away, he popped his head up and he was looking right at Stallone, and Stallone saw him.
Oh, no, I didn't see that part.
Oh, yeah. So from day one, moment one, he knew what was actually going on in this town. But
Shit. Okay. That makes it even worse.
Yeah, that's why he is really struggling through this movie, because he's overlooking so much as it progresses.
And it keeps on piling up. And I can't see where his conscience really starts to catch up with him. It's not until Robert De Niro comes in there and starts saying, you want to be a real cop? You need to do this. You need to do something here.
He's trying to shake him loose.
But I just don't know what the trigger is besides that.
I think it's just years and years and years of taking people's shit.
I guess.
And he finds a shred of self-respect and dignity. Maybe it's when he almost hooks up with the girl of his dreams. Like, he doesn't, but it's after that point that he does start perking up a little bit. So.
Yeah, and the Stallone performance here is very muted. He is just kind of, staring at his feet, talking into his chest. He's not emoting. There's just kind of nothing there. And even by the end, he's still not really sticking up for himself. He's just kind of, kicking his feet and saying, oh, shucks, Mr. Keitel, why don't you just go downtown and we can all just talk about this?
Yeah, we can figure this out, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Hey, you guys, come on.
It's very different for what he had been doing for a very long time, which is why I said it's like what he was doing in Rocky, where he's just this kind of, to paraphrase Weezer, a no-class beat-down fool, and he will always be that way.
Yeah, it's true.
So he is just this guy who is there, barely says 2 words, and by the end of the movie, he's only sort of pulling himself up by his bootstraps and doing something about it. He's not doing it. I was really concerned that this was going to turn into the Stallone we know, like on a dime.
Yeah.
And he was going to go big and it was going to get loud. But no, it carries through the whole movie.
He does not start yelling at people. He does not have the big hero moment. He says, okay, like the best thing that he does is tell the cop number 3 in the precinct, you need to go home to your family.
I'll be fine.
I have no family. So if I get killed doing this, then it's whatever. You can tell people what happened.
Yeah.
After the fact.
It goes badly immediately once the other cop is gone, as you expect it to. And he just gets back up and he trudges along and he finishes the job.
Right.
And he's busted up and bleeding and deaf. And he finishes.
And that final scene of them in the driveway, I've actually seen that before.
Okay.
So I feel like I watched the end of Copland on TV sometime.
On cable. This is such a cable movie.
It's such a cable movie. I saw it on TV sometime. It was the end. I was probably waiting for the beginning of the next thing, the next show, the next movie, whatever it happened to be. I've seen this scene before of them in the driveway, and it just seemed odd because I know who, like, the reputation of Stallone. I did not know any of the other people in it because I hadn't seen any of the movies that they were in. I knew Stallone. And it was just kind of weird. It was just a very anticlimactic, even though I didn't see the rest of the movie.
You had no context.
I had no context.
Your context was the kind of movies Stallone was making at
Right.
the time.
I was expecting maybe a grand shootout with, machine guns and shit. But no, it's him. Ray Liotta shows up and shoots most of the guys. And that's it.
He helps, like he tries. But even like Robert Patrick, when he gets shot, that look of surprise on his face.
Right.
Like none of them expected this dude to ever grow a backbone.
Sure.
And it shocks the hell out of him when he goes down. But yeah, you compare what Stallone is doing in this to everyone else who's pretty big. Like they're all believable performances, but Robert Patrick, pretty big and loud. And Ray Liotta is like on cocaine half the movie, so he's really big.
Yeah.
Harvey Keitel
is awesome.
Yeah, he's great in this. De Niro is big. Like you put all these guys, these heavy hitters in one place together, and then you have Stallone, who you expect to be doing big or just extra more.
Just more.
And he is just there. It is bizarre. But it's not bad.
That's the point.
I can understand how people were confused.
Yeah, and from what I read about this movie, the movie was reviewed well. Like, critics really liked it, but it bombed at the box office. No one came to see it.
Well, everyone was going to fucking Titanic.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite yet. This came out August of 97.
Still.
I don't remember when Titanic came out.
I don't remember. But like I kind of talked about in the intro, there was a lot of just buzz around the movie, but it was not positive buzz. No one had actually seen it yet. They just knew that, hey, Sylvester Stallone got fat.
Yeah.
That was the big story.
That's what we talked about.
But it has nothing to do with the movie. He's just a cop.
He just looks like a dude.
Yeah, he looks like a cop would back in 97.
Yeah, he's got a gut, which is unusual to see.
Sure.
With this particular actor, but it wasn't like distracting or anything. He was committed to this part.
It wasn't a part of the movie.
No.
He just needed to look like a more schlubby kind of a guy.
He ate pancakes.
That would be kind of pushed around.
Who could be pushed around.
Yeah.
Because if he was bulked up the way he usually is, you wouldn't buy it.
Maybe he would have been more confident. Who knows?
Yeah, it would change his entire character. He has to look like a loser.
Kinda. Because, again, his body language really came through here. Him just kind of looking down, shuffling his feet, just all the things that I already said. And I think that really contributes more than anything else.
Absolutely. And this is a movie that every time a new person was introduced, I'm just like, Jesus Christ, there are so many people in this movie. So I had mentioned Stallone and Keitel. I forgot De Niro was in this. He's on the poster.
He is.
So is Ray Liotta. But then it just keeps going from there. Yeah, Edie Falco, Janine Garofalo, Robert Patrick, Michael Rappaport.
Method Man.
Method Man.
In 1997 is in a Stallone movie? What the hell?
Yep. Peter Berg, who was on Chicago Hope in the 90s, right about the time. He was probably on it while this was happening.
I think so. And the only other thing that I saw him in was Collateral. He's the other detective in Collateral opposite Mark Ruffalo. And he's the guy who's saying, you got a body? There's no case here. Let's go home. I want to go to sleep.
Who else is in here? Like, it's all the character actors where you maybe don't know their name, but you've seen them in something. So, like, Kathy Moriarty is Ray's wife. The thing that most people probably know her from our age is Casper. She's in the 95 version of Casper. She's... What the hell's her name? Kerrigan Crittenden? It's something so stupid.
I don't know. I've never seen Casper.
Oh, it's so ridiculous. We're going to watch Casper eventually.
Do we also need to watch Richie Rich? Because that came out around the same time, did it not?
Give or take. They're definitely similar vibes, you know. They're animated movies or animated comics from like the 40s, from the same company, actually.
Yes.
Casper, she's the villain, and she's great. It's that voice, that fucking I've been smoking cigarettes your entire life voice.
Speaking of course, we cannot mention a 90s movie without the fact that everybody is smoking.
There's a lot of smoking and drinking in this movie.
There are a lot of drunk people. There isn't a lot of drinking.
Fair enough. We always get there at the end of the party.
Yes. I think the kid is the only one who actually takes a drink that you see on camera.
Or maybe like a beer. Somebody has like a beer.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm racking my brain here to see to remember if there are actually any drinking on screen.
In the party, there is. But
Okay.
you're so distracted by the whole what's going on around them.
Yeah.
You're not paying attention to that.
Anyway.
But yeah, there's a lot of other people whose names I don't know, but it's like, oh, it's that guy from that thing and that lady from that other thing. Debbie Harry is in this movie.
Lead singer of Blondie.
But all her scenes got cut. So she's literally only in one scene as the bartender in the background. No lines.
Yeah, with no lines, but she's credited in the role. And apparently she did some kind of interview at some time saying, oh yeah, all my scenes got cut, but I still got paid.
This is one of those interesting movies where, because they've got so many people and it was the 90s, they kept it to a tight 145.
Yeah.
This is one of the rare movies, again, I wish was maybe a little bit longer to develop some of this. I don't know exactly what I would add, but there were just a little times where it's like, I would have liked a little more to tighten this up. Just a tiny bit.
I disagree. I think it was almost maybe a little bit too long.
Really?
Like, I don't think we needed to get like fucking flashbacks of him diving into the water to save the girl in the car.
Well, we needed to get the context for why he's obsessed with this girl, I guess.
I mean, did you really need to see it happen?
It helps you relate to his character more, like the way it happened. He watches this woman, this car just flies off a bridge above him. He happens to be there. He dives into the water and the car is kind of still floating at an angle.
Yeah.
And one of the windows is open in the car and he goes in. But while he is inside the car tips over and now he is trapped. And that was fucking traumatic. And then they show him smashing his head against the glass to break it. And that's how he lost his hearing in that ear.
Yes.
So this is the defining moment of his life. And I think if you had just described this to me, it wouldn't have been as impactful.
It may not have been as impactful, I agree with you. But I think they still could have tightened it up just a little bit because the first third of the movie, I felt went a little slow.
Maybe a little. That was my problem though. It was maybe a little slow, but it wasn't descriptive enough. So you get kind of this very loose introduction, like a 10-sentence description of where we are. It's Garrison, New Jersey, and this is why it exists.
Yeah.
Then it's just sort of bad cop, doing bad thing, bad cop. And they don't bring it all together right away.
Yeah,
so I was still struggling just a little to follow what was going on.
I agree. And there was even a couple of characters that showed up only a couple of times that didn't really come back until the end of the movie. That didn't really matter.
And there's so many of them. We keep having, cop funerals and there's 10,000 people in uniform. But they would just jump to the next scene. Like when Peter Berg's character dies, why was he on that roof? Why was Method Man there? What was happening? Why did he have, we just went there.
Yeah, we just went there. We didn't get any kind of setup.
No.
But again, this is just cop stuff. Cops doing cop things.
It was just a jarring thing. There were some moments like that where it's like we didn't get any flow.
He even said, I got a shift at 10 o'clock at night. I'm going to go to my shift now. That happened right before then.
And they said they all do.
Yeah.
That's all
true.
you get though. Yeah, but I just wanted a little more. I'm not saying I needed 25, 30 extra minutes.
The only thing that would have helped that is if you saw the Peter Berg character in his cruiser get the call saying, hey, there's this guy, go after him.
How did we get here?
Yeah.
We cut to guy you've never seen before bleeding on a roof, and then Peter Berg fighting Method Man, who we've also not seen up to this point.
I can't get over the fact that fucking Method Man is in this in a 1997 movie.
You kept screaming, is that Method Man? I'm like, I don't know, Trent. Why does Method Man keep showing up in movies we're watching?
I guess, yeah.
It's happened a few times now.
Yeah.
So I would argue there were just little things that we could have done. But I understand because, again, in the 90s, people showed restraint to the point of most movies, an hour and a half.
Yeah.
That is a common theme. And now most movies are 2.5.
Right.
It's gotten a little out of hand. But there is a balance.
Right. Speaking of out of hand, I want to talk about the whole corruption angle here. So the crux of the movie here is that we said these cops from New York want to have a place of their own where they can feel safe. You know, like the snowflakes that cops are. So they, like Ray character, the Harvey Keitel character, has it in with the mob. And the mob also wants a place where they can run their drugs. They also have their own bank. So guess what? If you want to have this town, you want to be able to get free reign to do whatever you want in this town in New Jersey. So the cops let you slide on whatever it is that they're doing. The mob who owns the bank gives the cops very, very cheap interest rates to buy very nice houses. And the one guy who doesn't get the sweetheart deal on a house is the sheriff. He kind of lives in a shithole. Everybody else lives in a pretty nice house.
They're all riding,
especially Ray.
Riding high.
Yeah, especially Ray. Like, we've seen inside of his house, he had the party there. That's pretty nice for 1997.
The only one who didn't live in such a nice house was the one who blew up his own house.
Right.
I don't really know because we didn't see the inside. Maybe it was nice, but Ray Liotta wants out of this game, out of the racket, and he's kind of on the fence with this whole gang. It's the thing where, again, I needed more details and they passed through it so quickly.
Yeah.
His partner was going to go and rat them all out.
Yeah, his partner got in trouble because he was deemed the headlock cop, which you're not allowed to do.
He used excessive force.
Yep.
He got arrested.
Yep.
And when he was facing jail time.
Yeah, he was going to rat out the rest of the crew to avoid jail time, and they killed him for it.
They had a guy on the inside, one of the police that was working at the prison.
And Ray Liotta knew that it was this crew's responsibility.
And it was his partner.
Yeah, and he keeps throwing it in their face, saying, like, this cop's picture is up on the wall. You can't even fucking look at him because you know what you did.
Yeah, but it makes him a loose end, and they worry
all the time. He's a loose cannon, yeah.
So he wants out. So the whole thing at the beginning is him getting bomb equipment from Edie Falco, which we don't know until later. We're passing through.
When the camera pans up and we see the back of her jacket and it says Bomb Squad.
And even then, I still didn't get it. It wasn't until the very
You
end.
got it before I did.
I went, oh, now it's all coming together. He burned his own house down.
We blew it the fuck up.
He did. And they blamed the wiring because this town isn't really going to do an investigation.
Sure.
The sheriff investigated as far as he filled out the paperwork and said it was wiring because someone told me it was.
Exactly.
And then he got his big fat check and he was on the road.
He was literally on the road about to leave town when he slams on the brakes and his conscience got the better of him. He comes back to town to help out Freddy.
Well, we've talked about it before on this podcast, but the thing I kept thinking about by the time we got to the end of the movie was High Noon. It's the same thing over again. We talked about it in the Belfast episode where there's all these bad guys and there's one dude who's willing to stand up to them. Now, in that movie, he goes around asking everybody for help and they say, no, man, you're on your own. And he has to do it by himself. In this movie, it's kind of the opposite. Everyone's a bad guy. Right. So there's not even anyone he can go to.
Well, and even the other cop who goes back to his family. He doesn't want anything to do with it because he knows that this is maybe a suicide mission.
And his wife is pregnant, and he doesn't want to die.
And Janine Garofalo wants nothing to do with all of this.
No, she said, this whole town is fucked. I'm going back upstate.
I want to transfer back to where I was upstate.
So, he's left by himself. And there's that scene where he's gonna take the kid in.
Yep, he's got him in handcuffs.
He walks him out to the car in the morning, and immediately the guys jump him.
Right, in broad daylight.
In broad daylight, they load him into a car, and Robert Patrick fires his gun next to his head.
Yeah, he even says, oh, this is your good ear, right? Bang. And the bullet actually does graze his cheek.
He is that close to him.
Yeah.
So he is bleeding and in pain. He is limping by foot with his shotgun.
Yeah.
And he gets it done. Like, he doesn't give up. But it's that thing where, like in High Noon, he has to do it by himself.
Yeah.
So maybe someday we'll have to watch High Noon. I watched it one time in college in a film class, I think.
Yeah.
But since we're on this, let's talk about the end of the movie then, because this was kind of a cool thing they did because he's now deaf in both ears.
Right.
You hear the ringing, and the whole climax of the movie is pretty much silent. It's that kind of hollow, like, you see everyone's mouths moving, and all you hear is
it's kind of muffled. Wah. Yeah, there's kind of a ringing and a weird metallic sound coming through the speakers, and you can see people are talking to him. You know what they're saying.
Except you kind of don't. Like,
you know what they're kind of saying anyway.
You get the gist of, like, put the gun down, put the
go
gun
away,
down.
this is over, you're not going to do anything, blah, blah, blah.
And then when he actually does something about it, like I said earlier, they're surprised. They are very surprised by that. But it was kind of a cool way to end the movie. Like, when he gets into the house and Michael Rappaport's trying to get out the window and Harvey Keitel comes up behind Stallone, he turns around and shoots him and he says something on the ground. And the only thing that is in clear for the audience is, I can't hear you.
Right. And was that, like, supposed to be, like, a cold-blooded thing to say? I don't think so.
No, I think it's generally a fact.
I can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
I can't hear you. Okay.
Maybe it's like a metaphor, like, I'm done listening to you.
Maybe.
It's a little on the nose, but it also kind of makes...
I like Harvey Keitel is on the ground just swearing at him.
It makes sense now that I'm thinking about it. It is kind of a heavy metaphor of he's done taking your shit. He is done listening to you. I am a man. I'm not a boy. Like Harvey Keitel gives him that whole speech about you're a boy. Like I only hire men.
You came in here without a plan. You thought that you were going to be able to just take me in. Are you fucking kidding me? Do you know who I am?
Yeah. You're a boy. I'm a man.
Not knowing that, really not respecting the fact that you are actually talking to a sheriff who has the ability to arrest you.
Who's gonna let them?
I know.
He is never gonna get away with arresting him.
That's the thing.
Even at the end of the movie, when he gets the guy, Michael Rappaport agrees to go in. He gets him to New York to internal affairs, and there's dozens of cops just milling about because it's a police station. And they're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, they try to stop him from taking this cop in because cops defend other cops.
Yes, they do.
And this whole scene, like, Murray is saying, it's cool, guys, it's cool. Just let this happen. It's cool.
Yep.
But they're trying to stop him knowing nothing of this situation other than what they've seen on the news.
Well, and they also, up until this point, thought that Murray was dead.
And he's a hero cop.
Right.
They're like, no. What are you doing? Why are you taking him?
Yeah, not only are you alive, but you are arrested? What?
Yeah. And Ray Liotta is like, it's cool, guys. It's cool. And Murray's like, it's cool. And De Niro has to leave his office and get all the way out there with more of his own guys to get him away.
Right. Yeah, it was a really intense scene. But in the end, we have another voiceover from Robert De Niro saying, you know what, cops on both sides of the river really wish that Freddy did not recover because of all of the shit that got stirred up after everything happened.
Everything unravels.
Yeah, because Ray was killed, all of the stuff that he was involved in started to become unraveled. The mob boss got arrested. The other guy who killed the partner was given this sweetheart deal of being a corrections officer somewhere else. He got arrested for the original murder.
Ray Liotta's character testified.
Yep.
Gave him all the dirt.
Told him whatever he knew about the entire crew, what they've been up to.
The mob.
Yeah. And he wants out anyway, so it doesn't really matter. He's got his money.
He gets immunity, basically.
Probably, yeah.
Or he at least gets a deal.
He at least gets a deal where maybe he's not going to go to prison for all the things that he was involved with this crew and blowing up his own house.
And doing a lot of drugs.
Well, they don't really address the drugs all that much.
They definitely tell you enough to know he's on drugs.
Right. And we get one more final scene with Stallone just looking across the river at the city, which I really like the fact that they used so many shots of the Jersey side looking across the river to the city.
It's not one that gets used in movies very much.
It's not that kind of skyline. You usually get it from like Brooklyn or
the southern tip of Manhattan where you get all the high rises.
Right. And you get a different view here, which I appreciate.
These are just like the shitty little buildings on the edge of town.
Sure. financial district in Manhattan and whatever. And probably it's even probably Staten Island too. I don't really know what part of Jersey this is. But anyway, the end of the movie is Stallone basically looking off and thinking to himself, you know what? I don't need to be an NYPD cop. I'm doing good work over here. And the other cop comes in saying, hey, we got a jackknife truck around here. Let's go help him out. And he's doing good work. And he did a good job.
Well, yeah, he spends half the movie like wistfully looking across the water at the big bad city, wishing he could be a part of it. And now he's like, no, I like my little small town.
Right.
My Sheriff Andy of it all.
Kinda, yeah.
And his partner can be Opie.
No, Janine Garofalo has to come back.
She went away. Opie. She does not need to be Opie.
They gotta hire an Opie then.
Okay.
All right, I want to go over some little bits here that we skipped over, and then we can get out of here. First, I want to mention a couple of the choice quotes that I pulled out of here. One of them comes from the Ray Liotta character when he's talking to Freddy, trying to convince him this is all fucked.
It's pointless what you were trying to do.
Yes. This town is completely run by Ray. The mob owns this place. How do you think they got all these houses? Blah, blah, blah. I got my money. I'm getting the fuck out of here. And he says to Freddy, being right isn't a bulletproof vest. So it doesn't matter if what you're doing is the right thing. It doesn't matter if you're on the right side of the law and morality and everything else. It doesn't mean that they can't come after you and get away with it.
And they will.
Yes. So they almost did.
He's been lecturing him the whole movie about you can't face these guys head on. You gotta turn right. You gotta go diagonal. You gotta dip, duck, dodge, dive,
in his coked up way. The other one comes from the Robert De Niro character when he's visiting him in Freddy's office. He comes in and says, it's kind of like you're the sheriff of Copland. That's the name of the movie, Betsy.
It's true. They did that thing.
I love it when they just say the name of the movie in the movie.
It's so stupid.
It's so stupid. I love it, though. A couple other things that I read about this movie. One of them was, you said it, the thing about Sylvester Stallone's weight. Everybody just said, oh yeah, he just ate a bunch of donuts forever and he got fat. No, not quite. He ate a bunch of pancakes in a local breakfast place near him. He just ate a fuckload of pancakes.
Every day. Man. Pancakes. That's the best job.
Man.
I want this job where my job is to
eat breakfast.
Eat pancakes.
Eat breakfast all the time.
Eat breakfast. Gain weight for your role.
I fucking love breakfast, Betsy. It's my favorite meal, even though I don't... I love going to a diner or a breakfast place. Betsy and I love this.
Breakfast for dinner is my favorite thing.
We literally had waffles last night.
Yeah.
For dinner.
It's so easy, and they fill you up, and they're delicious.
They are.
Who doesn't want waffles?
All the time.
All the time.
You would get fat, Betsy.
Maybe I should become a Sylvester Stallone type actor. Then I can use it as an excuse.
It's true. It's true. But one other thing, we didn't watch the entire credits, but in the IMDb trivia, at the very end of the movie, there is a thing that says, this is a work of fiction. It is actually illegal for New York cops to live in a different state.
Don't look for this town. It isn't real. We made it up for the movie.
Copland is fiction.
Yeah.
It's not a real place.
So if you think you want to move to the town full of cops, you're not going to find it.
No, why would you want that anyway?
And I like that they gave it some context because otherwise, this would make absolutely no sense to be in New Jersey.
Right. And even if they were doing it on the sly where nobody really cared, you still have to say something about it.
I guess I didn't even really think about the fact that you have to be a resident of that place.
Yes. To
be in law enforcement, because I'm not. I'm not in law enforcement.
Well, and for the most part, they do encourage cops to live in the precincts and the districts where they actually patrol.
I suppose.
Because then you get to know the neighbors, you get to know the neighborhood, and if you have to go off and work in a different part of town than what you live in, you're not as prone to protect it, maybe.
Well, you're also...
If it's your own neighborhood, you want to protect it.
You also don't give as much of a shit, and you can get dirty pretty quick.
Exactly. And if people know you in your part of the city, they're more apt to watch your ass.
And let you get away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All it takes is one, though, Trent. One guy.
That's right.
Who does what's right to stand up.
Sylvester Stallone is his name. One last thing I loved early on in the movie where they're talking in the bar. This is such a late 90s thing. They're talking in the bar about giving a guy shit for betting against the Chicago Bulls.
This was during the 3-peat, 4-peat.
Ended up being 5-peat because you read they had to ADR the line where they said 5 time. It was originally 4 time, but by the time the movie was released, they had just won again.
So they had to change it.
So they had to change the line.
Oh my. The 90s!
The 90s.
Remember when the Bulls were the biggest team in the world?
The only good Chicago team of my lifetime?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's all I had, Betsy. Did you have anything else to add?
I was surprised at the end credits to find Howard Shore did the score in this movie.
Yes, I remember that name.
I always find it fascinating to see what people were doing before I knew who they were. Because obviously, if it hasn't clicked with you, he did a little movie called The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a few years before that, but they were probably in the early days of pre-production. Because that movie was a massive undertaking.
They also don't score until it's already filmed.
I know, but it's still somewhere in the world Peter Jackson was
within
brewing
5
that
years.
idea.
Yeah, within 5 years that happened.
2001, and this came out in 97.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And they filmed them all at the same time, which they
Yeah.
started filming like 2 years before.
You're right.
So
Shit, okay.
it really wasn't that big a time jump, but this is what he was probably doing right before he got the call to be like, hey, we're making this little thing in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Want to be a part of it?
Sure, why not? I need a paycheck.
But other than that, no, I think I've had all of the big thoughts shared in this podcast. It's one that I think I would maybe watch again.
I think so.
Like I said, it's something that now that I've gone through it and I understand who everybody is and what everybody's about, I could probably follow it a little more and maybe I would get more out of it.
I have a hard time seeing a movie like this where there is so many people in it with so many names.
It's really hard because every 2 seconds you go, hey,
Yeah,
hey,
right.
and it really takes you out of the movie. It's just a thing that happens.
And I like to learn character names. I just keep on saying, oh yeah, the Harvey Keitel character. I know his name is Ray, but we also have Ray Liotta in this thing, so that it's harder.
And his name is like Figsy or something.
Yeah, and it's just a nickname.
There's a lot of nicknames going around.
Yeah.
You know, there's Superboy, Super Pony, whatever.
Pony Boy.
Pony Boy.
Stay gold, Pony Boy. That's a different movie. Anyway, all right. I agree with Betsy. I think I would want to watch this movie again. If for nothing else, I just want to have a more coherent vision of it all the way through. But, all right. If you would like to talk to us about Sylvester Stallone and all of his pancakes, email us neverseenitpod@gmail.com. We got one such email from our superfan Stephanie about a little movie called Saving Private Ryan.
Which came out...
Have you heard of this movie?
It came out less than a year after this one.
Kind of a big deal. From Stephanie, she says, I have not seen this movie in years. However, I remember being moved and in awe of the cinematography. In recent years, though, I have watched Band of Brothers. I think Band of Brothers is better and more in line with what Trent was wanting. Real veterans telling their story intermingled with the actors. It is so good. Plus, you really get invested in all of the characters. I think Saving Private Ryan does a really good job of showing the chaos of war, but doesn't let you get invested in the characters quite as much. It is genuinely groundbreaking, but in hindsight, it's not a perfect movie. The cast is crazy, so many good actors that I love, but you should absolutely watch Band of Brothers. Yeah, that's the sentiment that we're getting a lot of here. Band of Brothers is a mini-series, so we could just bang it out in maybe a weekend, but we certainly wouldn't cover it for the show.
No, we've got to finish a lot of other TV shows. If we haven't gotten to it by now, I mean...
Yeah, maybe I'll just watch it by myself one day. I don't know.
We'll see. But it's the same problem with this movie where every 10 seconds, hey, it's that guy. Hey,
Sure.
it's that guy. Hey,
Sure.
it's that guy.
Right. And she finishes, this week I took my daughter to see the new The Little Mermaid. It was so good. Love you guys from Superfan, Stephanie.
Oh God, there's a whole subgenre now of these live action remakes.
Yes.
That we could do a full series on. I think the only ones that you have seen, the only one you have seen is Beauty and the Beast.
Correct.
And I saw that in Cinderella.
You saw the Cinderella?
Yeah, I don't think I've seen any of the rest of them.
Was that a part of the whole remake thing?
It started it. That was the first one.
Okay.
And it's not a musical. And then they made Beauty and the Beast, which was a musical.
Yeah.
And when Beauty and the Beast did really well, then they're like, well, fuck, let's make all of them.
Let's run the gamut of the late 80s and early 90s
Let's
Disney
make
stuff.
Moana, even though it only came out 6 years ago.
Yeah, there are other ones you could probably do other than that one.
Oh, just
first,
make
anyway.
it stop. Make it stop. I'm
I-
interested, but none of them have really been 100% across the board. This is an amazing movie.
No, none of them have been.
None of them.
I enjoyed the Beauty and the Beast movie.
I did too. It is not without fault, though.
No, I am intrigued by all the rest of them. Aladdin came out. Lion King came out.
Mulan, Lady and the Tramp,
Mulan. Shit.
Dumbo.
Lady and the Tramp was a direct-to Disney Plus thing.
They just sort of threw it out there and we moved on with our lives.
Okay, kind of like Lady and the Tramp. But this Little Mermaid one is intriguing to me. I think maybe we'll wait until that's on Disney Plus. If we're going to cover that, we're going to wait till that's well down the line.
We're not going to the theater for that one.
No, we have way too many other things. We're really having to pick and choose here because we don't really want to go and see brand new movies and cover them for the show all the time, even though there's a lot of movies coming out that we want to see.
There's also just too many movies out this summer,
Yeah.
out all the time. Now that people have stopped holding them back.
Well, that's the thing. We've said it before. The pandemic really put a delay on a lot of big titles, and they're all kind of coming out at the same time.
It's
because
overwhelming.
These studios have a release schedule to hit, and they're hitting it, by golly. Why do you think we're getting fucking Barbie and Oppenheimer on the same fucking day?
I'm so excited about this weekend. It's so stupid that the world has fixed on this.
It's fully embraced the absurdity of these two movies coming out the same day.
Barbenheimer. I fully expect Barbie is going to win as far as dollars, but I know so many people are just going to do the double feature. They're just going to do it. And if we didn't have a podcast, I would do it too.
And I don't give a shit about box office numbers between the two movies. If they're good, I want them both to be successful. I don't give a shit who wins.
I just think it's really funny the number of people that will not choose. They will go to both.
Yes.
That is such a weird
I want people
pairing.
to go to both. I want to go to both. But I don't want to make it a thing where we're going to go see both movies the same day.
Try me, Trent. Just try me.
If you would like us to go and see both movies, support us by clicking the link in the description of this here episode and sending us to the theater, popcorn and everything.
We will list you as a sponsor for the episode.
If you want us to do this shit, you need to support us, goddammit. We can't go out and see every single movie. Anyway. Thank you again, Stephanie, for the email. If we haven't thanked you already for this email and all the other emails that you continue to send us. If you would like to be like Stephanie and email us, the email address, again, is neverseenitpod@gmail.com. You don't have to be a super fan to email us. You don't even have to pay us to email us. It's free.
You can just send a 10-word email about you should go see Barbie
Right.
and Oppenheimer the same day.
Right.
Or write us an essay about why you support this, or don't.
Right. Or just tell us what your opinion is about Christopher Nolan. You know, I'm sure you got one.
Everyone does.
By this point, yes. But again, follow us on all of our social media pages. We post every single day, sometimes twice a day. We're starting to do that more.
I'm trying to be more interactive.
Yes, Betsy's the social media person. I don't really touch that stuff.
But
all that
I
much.
work for a living. I only can do so much.
It's true. We both have actual day jobs here. This podcast is not bringing in the bacon like we want. So again, maybe you should help us out. Help us out. Send us to the theater. Or if you don't want to do that, you can sponsor an episode. You can tell us to watch a movie that we haven't seen yet. Reach out to us and tell us what you want us to cover. Which, by the way, it's July, y'all. If we haven't mentioned it already, the month of July is going to be nothing but rando movies.
No series.
No series whatsoever. We're waiting until August for that. We're going to bring back an old favorite that we did last year, by the way, so just a little hint. But July is just whatever the fuck we want. It's just individual movies that we want to watch. But before I forget to say it, I want to remind you as well, go to your podcast app of choice and rate us 5 stars in there. Leave us a review if you are so inclined. It helps more people to discover this show. And if you haven't already, if you don't mind, switch your podcast app of choice over to Spotify for at least a little while. And until we tell you otherwise, switch over to Spotify. We're trying to grow our numbers over there so that we can get more shit happening on that side. But that is where we are going to end it here for now. That was Copland. I want to thank you for listening to this here episode. Join us for the rest of this here month where we're just going to watch whatever the fuck we want to watch.
We have no plan!
Yes, we have a plan. We know what we're doing.
Our plan is to not have a plan.
No, we planned this out, Betsy. We know what we're watching.
Sure we do,
Don't
Trent.
lie to the people.
Okay, I'll only fib to the people.
Anyway, that is the end of the show. My name is Trent.
My name's Betsy.
We'll be back with another episode of Never Seen It.
Bye, guys.